Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Welcome. If you could all be seated. Thank you so much, Chris. That was fantastic. Hopefully you all picked up a copy of the classes that I'm going to be teaching for next year. If you want to become a minister in the Universal Church of the Master, this is the first year, and that's called the Lacentia Program. And we have some excellent classes. We have some wonderful speakers coming in, and we'd like for you to look at what are being offered. And this is twice a month, and it's a year-long program after which you become a minister. And then to become ordained, you'll need another year, and we'll talk about that. The UCM ministerial program is 2 years, but the first year you become a minister. And as a minister, you can say prayers, you can do counseling with people, you can do a lot of things being a minister. And then becoming a reverend is when you're ordained, and you can do weddings and funerals, okay? But the first year, you can do everything else the minister does. Am I right? We are lucky enough to have the president of the Universal Church of the Master here.
Yes, but you have the expert sitting over there. And on that 2-year program, you can become a healer or a minister.
A healer or a minister. And so you'll notice that a lot of the classes that we offer, the first year are about different types of healing. Okay? And it's also, you don't have to sign up for the program. You can just come to the classes. They're open to anybody. And they're $15 a session, or 2 for $25. And that 2 for $25 means you can take 2 classes for $25, or you can bring a friend and say a little bit, do that, okay? And we'd love to see you. And I'm going to be having, Mary, could you do this for me? Could you put this over there so people can sign up if they're interested? We already have people interested. Watch that pin, I just stuck it there. There it goes. Thank you, Mary.
And Darby?
Yes.
I'll get it up on the website this week.
Okay.
Under upcoming events.
Good.
So people can register there as well.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Good. And April, I like your haircut. That's good. You walked in and I went, who's that? You know, do that. Well, if this is your first time here, thank you so very much. Anybody like to claim that this is their first time here and raise your hand? Thank you, Mary. Welcome, Mary. I think what this is Mary's going through challenges in life, and as she completes each challenge, she's renewed.
She's born again.
So, thank you for raising your hand. And a lot of people don't realize that. The things you go through renew you. You start looking at things differently. This is Universal Church of the Master, and we're a charter of that church, and that's the Center for Creative Living. So that's where you are. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning, and thank you, Chris Peters, for doing the exercises. Yay! Oh, those are always so fun. I get to sit in my double chair back here and do them along with you, and I really do appreciate it. This is a very difficult week.
Yes.
And I want to talk to you about taking care of yourself. So many times we get into grief over something we can't really change. These are things that have happened. But look at the grief inside you. Is this bringing up old stuff? Say to yourself, that's an old memory. I can release it. Is it bringing up new fear? Look at the fear. Feel it. And then release it. It's the holding on to fear of the unknown that makes us so scared. So every time you get afraid, stop and say, is there anything I can do about this? And there is so much you can do. You as spiritual beings can listen. You don't have to even talk to somebody who's very, very sad or going through a terrible time. Just be there. just offer your capability as a listener. This is one of the strongest gifts you have been given. And sometimes you want to cure, you want to take away their pain. You can't take away their pain, but you can give them words that they can use to take away their pain. So I want you all to think of that, because today we are honoring Memorial Day. And I don't know how many of you realize it started out as Decoration Day after the Civil War. A lot of Union soldiers died south of the border. And people got together and decorated the burial areas where those men were buried. And if they had a name, fine. If not, they still decorated their graves. And the majority of the people doing this were black members of either the Union Army or the Confederate Army. We had people of all colors fighting on both sides. But the decorating of the graves gave them a way to honor the Union, to honor the soldiers. And that idea of honoring people who have been in war has traveled forward to the observation of Memorial Day that we have now. And so if you think of it, and you know there was a soldier, sailor, merchant marine, whatever in your family, and you know where they're buried, go decorate it. It doesn't mean a huge floral arrangement. It can be just a little flag, or if they're not already flags, or it can just be a kiss. But honor their memory. Yes, Eddie?
I have a hard time separating honoring war in general.
We're not honoring war, we're honoring the people.
I came from a military family, so sometimes I have a hard time separating that.
Yes, and every time you think of it.
This is like almost like honoring war.
No, we're honoring the people who died. However, on whatever side.
Thank you.
Honoring those people and say, thank you so much for giving your time and especially your life. I agree with you, Eddie. It's like when somebody said, oh, you're going to celebrate Memorial Day. Mm-hmm. Memorial Day is not a celebration, it's an observation, where we observe and we thank the people who fought in all the wars. Unfortunately, there's becoming more and more of them. And for us here at CCL, we're a spiritualist church, so we feel that life goes on after death. I know that's an oxymoron, but there is an energetic you after you die and leave this plane. And so when you think of that, when you honor that all these beings, that part of them that has gone on, we're honoring that and say thank you so much for what you gave to us. How many veterans here? Yeah, Corey, yeah. Thank you so much for your service. Yeah, and anytime you see somebody that's wearing a pin or a hat or a decoration, just very gently say, thank you for your service. I know my friend, Reverend Ronnie, he says it's so nice when some kid of about 21 walks up and says, hey, sir, I want to thank you for your service. Mm-hmm. It's like they got it. Mm-hmm. They understand. Okay, are you all ready to do a meditation? I'd like you all to take a nice deep breath. Put your feet flat on the floor. And either close your eyes or keep them open, whichever you feel most comfortable. And follow the sound of my voice. Today, we're going to take a trip to one of those graveyards. And as you're walking along a grassy plain of white crosses, of small figurines, goddess-shaped Wiccan symbols. We also find there are Jewish symbols, Islamic. So many things are represented in this graveyard because it is a cemetery of our fallen. And walking among all these graves, feel their energy. Feel the energy of men and women who passed on. in a war that they may have felt was necessary, or they might not, but yet they gave their lives. So now we're going to walk. Just feel yourself walking across the grass, stopping now and then to look at a gravestone, to look at a plaque, and read who's there. For me, the people who are there are my father, 2 brothers, an uncle, a great-grandfather, and a sister who is still with us but was served, but has served. And as you're walking along looking at these plaques, feel the energy that emerges. Their energy. The energy of those who've gone before. We honor them today and tomorrow because we know that truly the gift they gave was the greatest gift of all. And as you're walking along, you're going to notice a big tree with beautiful branches and a little bit of rise in the hill. And with the sun shining down, walk over to that tree and see yourself sitting down. And open your heart. And open that spiritual essence of you. And that beings who have left this plane but still come back to visit the spirit world. Feel their energy as it flows through you. And honor that energy. It might be the energy of American soldiers, or German soldiers, or Asian soldiers. It could be the energy of every country on the planet. And don't forget Australia and Great Britain. And all of those energetic beings who have now gone on into spirit. So we not only honor those who passed, but we honor their spirits. And as you sit there, feeling their energy, listen to our wonderful Reverend Dr. Jim Childs.
Oh, I open up my heart and let the wings of freedom fly. I open up my heart and my eyes reach for the sky. I remember you, your every breath, your every step. I remember you, and I know you are ever in my heart. And let your heart open, and let the wings of freedom fly. Let your heart be open and feel the power of the earth and sky. I remember you, I remember you, every step, every breath. Oh, I remember you, and you're ever in my heart. And I honor your life that's opened up the doors to the freedom I can hold in my heart. And I open my heart and I sing aloud. will carry forward this sweet melody. We all have our right to be loving and joyful and free.
Thank you so very much, and,
Yes,
we have a guest today.
we have a special guest, our wonderful Maurice World, that I would like to invite to the stage. Oh, just take a nice deep breath and feel our energy with you.
Yeah, let the door close so it's not so loud.
Finding hope, my past is a battle from tragic pain and sorrow, damage, giving up, no, finding hope, giving love to those who really need it. I guess I feel happiest, knowing my heart is still beating. Love yourself, appreciate the bright things in stormy weather. Something that helps get through my day is knowing I have so much meaning. We will be fine, Maurice World. Always try to strive to be happy and never give up on my dreams. I encourage LGBT. Just know we are like a loving team. Any stormy weather, the sun appears and a beautiful rainbow is out. I'm right here, gay and proud.
Gay and proud, gay and proud, gay and proud, I'm right here. Gay and proud.
Great job.
For those of you who haven't stood up here, it's scary, and I want to thank you so much for being brave enough. And if you have a poem, if you have a song, if you have something you would like to share, please. We have room for more speakers coming up this year, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. Well, I know I'm going to love what our speaker has to say today, because I have known this woman, how long? I know who you are. I'm trying to figure out how long I've known you.
It's 40 plus years.
40 plus years, and I can honestly say she's never changed a lot.
No.
I mean, she's had a few changes along the way, but she's always been absolutely brilliant. Absolutely colorful, sometimes outlandish, but most of all, she's always had a story to tell. And that's why we love having Reverend Joyce C. Brown come speak here. And I'm going to move over a bit so you can come have the podium. Okay, here you come. And now, we have a clock.
Oh, the clock.
Okay.
My nemesis.
Okay, see right here?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna move my chair over so you can sit here and stare at the clock when you want to.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. After 40 plus years. Who are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just trying to intimidate the clock.
can do it, Joyce.
Anybody can, you can do it.
That's right.
I agree
It
with
didn't
that.
work. The clock is still ticking.
You've got until 10.
All right.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hold on. There we go.
I kept waking up, and 3 o'clock, I said, what is that about? Didn't know, but I got up anyway. Then 6 o'clock, I said, okay, something is telling me something, but I don't know what it is. So finally, around 7 o'clock, I got up and I stayed up. And then I contemplated absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing came. And I said, well, you should review your notes. Oh, wait, notes.
Yay!
I-
You just unrolled the flag.
Oh, that's a good sign.
I don't know.
Liberty, justice for all, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's excellent. So I dropped the flag. Just a moment, I'll be right back.
Give me a chance to grab my water.
Oh,
There we go. You need water before you start talking?
I probably will, yes.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Ann.
I write all these notes and then I don't read them. So I'm just gonna close it before I find myself drawn to reading them. And then I don't remember what I'm going to say. The power of no. I didn't learn about no until I was about 12, around the power of no in family situations. It was when I heard a voice say the following: why are you doing this to me? What have I done to you? Power of no. That stopped my mother from, I believe, that day taking my life. Very important power of no. I kid you not. She was somehow determined from about the age of 10 till I was 12 that I shouldn't exist. And then I discovered the power of no. Being invisible didn't work in my family. You can't be invisible in a family of 12. You thought you could, but you couldn't. Because no matter what I did, someone always countered it and said I did it. So it always became, yes, you did. Even though I was saying, no, I did not. With all the respect you could garner as a child, talking to the adult who's going to punish you. So at 12, I said those magic words. The power of no is not always no. It is a sentence, a question, making a statement, you see, and feeling that you'll be okay by saying it no matter what happens. I'm standing here, Joyce C. Brown.
Yes.
Throughout this life, I have used the power of no many times without saying no, by persevering when I was told I couldn't do something, when I was held back by those who had the power to stop my progress. I kept going. It's the power of no. We put a lot of emphasis on the word. It's actually a good word. Turn it around, it means on. I finally figured that out just right now. So I was on. And I've stayed on. I've learned that sometimes more words is better than a few. But then again, I have lots of words, and there are those who wonder if she's going to keep talking. And then I hear them in my own spiritual self, and I say, yes, I'm going to keep talking.
Yay!
Yay. When I was 17, somewhere, 16, 17, I discovered the song Respect.
Wow.
It was an amazing time of yes for a lot of reasons, but it was one hellacious no that I discovered, that I did not have to say anything to be heard. I just needed to be. I said, oh. The whole idea, what did I want? I wanted to be heard. I decided to stop talking. No one was listening. The question was always the same. What's wrong with you? But say that like you just came from Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Girl, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, yeah.
And I would look at the person saying this to me and wonder, why are they saying that? All I did was ask a question. But there had to be something wrong with me for asking a question that they could not answer. So instead of telling me, I don't know, they wanted to know what was wrong with me. So I learned silence and respect all went together. These are not separate entities. I discovered that the power of no has such amazing power that you can change your life, your world, the conditions of this planet. Everything can happen when you extend the no. Instead of just saying no, put more words to it. Speak from your heart. Speak from you as a soul, whatever works for you. Write a poem, sing a song, do a dance, write a play, do a book. It doesn't matter. It's a no that has a lot of buddies. No is not isolated. It is not singular. It is not by itself. It's got one heck of a community. But we're still learning how to use it because we're wanting everyone to be on the same page. That doesn't work. All of us in this room, we know no. I'm sorry, I had to do that one. We do. How can we take all of those and put it together in a statement? This is when it gains its power. It is no longer, did you say no? Yes. We have a paragraph here that says, I am entitled to be treated with dignity. I am entitled to be heard when I'm speaking to you from my feelings. I am entitled to be seen as a person with rights as a person, no different than you. Still no. We're still saying no to something. You cannot take it away from me. I will not give it to you. Do not let my silence confuse you into thinking you are stronger than me, that you're more powerful or victorious. It is not true. There's a reason why we say silence is golden. There's a reason why when something is very quiet, when there's a storm coming, what do? You don't sit there and say, oh, well, gee, is that a storm coming? You say, let us get in the basement. Grab the bucket, just in case we need a bucket. You always need a bucket. I don't know what that is, but you always need a bucket in a basement. One of you will tell me one day what that's about. In the meantime, grab some snacks, get the blankets, get the pillows, get your medicine, whatever. Get in the basement. Silence told you that. Silence didn't knock on the door and say, I'm coming, get ready. You sensed it, you responded. But silence is silence. It's a messenger and a teacher that's very present. No is very present. So when I learned to say no in church, wasn't easy, because if you got busted, you got punished. I learned how not to listen to the minister because I knew too much about his story. We all knew about it. Nobody was to talk about it. So the minister's standing up there telling me all about God, but the minister's doing everything that's counter to what is supposed to be the teachings. So I learned how not to listen to that minister. I learned to listen to my father, Joseph Levi Thomas Brown. I learned how to listen to the man who figured out how to hold his head up, how not to confront what we would have called the evil in the eye, but to hold your head up and look to the side. So you weren't being intimidating by being a man looking a man in the eye. But I heard these same men call him by his name. They didn't call him boy or Sam or anything. They said Joe. And he would say, yes, sir, because that's what you said. And then this man would say, well, come take a walk and I want to talk to you about that lower 40. And he's talking to my father about what will make him more money and that my father knows more about than he does. But my father is also saying, no, you will not degrade me. You will not talk down to me. And you will not threaten me, because my father was one heck of a strong man. I saw all of that. So he had his way of saying no. And out of that came a yes back. Talking to him instead of talking at him or talking down to him. When we figure out how to find ourselves, those who talk down to you must stop, because there is no response nor anything that tells them that you are intimidating. We have to find the way to be able to move mountains. People always talk about moving mountains. I might as well toss one in there. So the day I decided the day this body came in on a tornado, I must have been thinking something. Like, what was that about? You get born during a tornado. Who gets born during tornadoes? Lots of people, actually. Hurricanes, everything. So I came in, I'm still here. I decided that the mountain was not what I wanted to mess with. First of all, it's a mountain. And why would I want to climb it? People love climbing mountains. That's not my thing. I like to sit down there and look at the mountain and say, okay, talk to me. Mountain will tell you everything. So you have to decide what the mountain is. What do you want your mountain to be? I want my mountain to be me discovering something interesting. Knowledge, wisdom, getting to know someone, having something to say that perhaps someone would like to hear, or something that's an exchange of information and ideas that can make a difference. Okay, that's a good mountain. But to want to climb it because it's there makes no sense to me. But to have a conversation and gain wisdom makes sense to me. So when we stop deciding that we must challenge the mountain and realize the mountain is not the issue, it is the approach you have to the mountain. So this is when you have to say no to yourself. Stop doing that. It doesn't work. You see, when you threaten someone's idea of their mountain, they will come back at you with a force that perhaps you can't handle. But when you pull together the community and work as a team and say, it's not about the mountain. It is about the message we're going to deliver that others like ourselves will hear and respond to. And then we have progress and change. We will have the whole idea of illumination. All it means to me is that everything starts to shine brightly. And then that's when we have this amazing transformation becoming a yes. For those who do not have fear will move forward. Those who have fear will not. And it doesn't matter who they are, who the they are or is, whatever the language is for that. Will not move forward. Fear is an amazing, what do we call it? Teacher. I grew up in fear. Actually, the fear of my mother, actually. I tell you, it's an amazing thing. And then there was the fear of the one school teacher, who I used to think about going back and telling her what I thought about her. And then one day someone told me that she had transitioned, died. And I said, really? I was kind of disappointed. I really was. Oh yeah, I was really, I said, I was willing to take a plane back to Mississippi and go look up that teacher and ask her, what was her problem? Why were you a teacher when you spent all your time beating us and hitting us, chastising us, showing favors for the children whose family had land? I wanted to give her the big no. No finesse or nothing. And then she was gone. I said, well, now then, Joyce C, what are you going to do with all of this? So I decided to forgive. Took some effort. Forgiveness don't come easy.
No,
Anybody that tell you it does, you need to look at them closely.
Yes, that's correct.
Don't be mean or nothing. Just give them a good look and say, okay, tell me about it. Because I'm still working on being certain ages here, and I keep doing the forgiveness. I feel better, but then it comes back up, roaring out of nowhere, and pop, and I'm going, whoa, 5th grade, whoa, university, Santa Barbara, someplace, you got this stuff going on. But forgiveness does help. Think of forgiveness as another way of practicing transforming something from a no to a yes. Think about it as a healing process that helps to clear you of something you do not need. Whatever that person was doing or persons were doing to have that, they were acting out their lives. I found out a lot about what people were doing that was going on in their private lives. They were taking it out on us as children. Oppression. 1960s, Mississippi, segregation was raging. Teachers were being held like in shackles. They may have been educated, but they were still black. Actually, we were Negroes then. I think we were Negroes then. The 60s, right? Thank you. Hey, there it is. Yeah. And so, what do? You have teachers who cannot be themselves, but they want to teach. You have teachers who are being angry with you. You have teachers being angry with the life in the system, but they can't do anything about it because there were laws that were very strict and clean. Those laws were so strict and clean about what you can't do. You crossed over, it could cost you your life. So this is some of the stuff I had to figure out how to get that no out of there about that. See, we don't have clean slates. I've not met anyone who had a clean slate. If you meet somebody with a clean slate, you really need to talk with them and ask them, how do you manage this? Yes, talk to me, show me. Because things are going to surface in life. We have to figure out how to have a graceful no. Not the volatile one, not the get up in your face one, but how we can go about using the wisdom of grace, the knowledge of grace, the teaching skills of grace, integrity. I would throw in also grace is about forgiving, because what good does it do you to keep it? It doesn't help us at all. So when I think back to 1949, apparently that was a lively year for storms. And guess who came in? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Torrential rain, midwife. My daddy went out in a Model T. I never knew the man could drive. Till he started telling me the story of my birth. I said, Daddy could drive? I wasn't even interested in about the story of my birth. I said, Daddy could drive? They said, yeah. I said, oh. Because I only saw him working with the horses and things. He could handle horses, ride horses, and all of that. The man could drive. But nonetheless, he brought the midwife. I came in, still here, trying to figure it out. Fun memories, not so fun memories, but they're all mine. It is how I handle them. It is what am I saying yes to, and what am I saying no to, and when I am saying no, how am I transforming that into something that's wisdom? And I still have to find my grace about it, because sometimes I do get pissed off. Wait, can I use that word?
It's better than some I've heard you say.
This is true. We won't go in there. Got me on that one though. Yeah. So when I figure out what to do, I feel better because I don't hold on to it. That's my grace. The grace of forgiving, of caring about oneself. It always begins with you. If you're looking outside yourself for someone to decide you are worthy, give it up. Because they have no interest in that, usually. And they can be your best friends too. They can't always give you everything you need. We have to go inside of ourselves and find the teaching wisdom within us. And when we find it, to acknowledge it and say, oh my goodness, I can help myself. Let me start there. I started with learning to like myself. People always say you gotta love yourself. I say, okay, fine, I'll get there. But I'm gonna start with liking Joyce C. Well, I like me. I honestly do. And you tell them, they say, oh, you have an ego. I said, yes. What's the point here? What is the question? I like myself. This is not about ego. If I don't like myself, you'll say you need a therapist. I like myself. You telling me I still need a therapist because I'm egocentric or centric. It's a tricentric word, isn't it? Who thinks of these words? It wasn't me, I can tell you that. But I like me. And because I like me, I am able to say no to what I will not do. It is not about not being there. That has nothing to do with it. It is not something that I either believe in or am able to do at the time that you're asking me. So I need to make a decision. Am I going to table all the rest of my life I have going in motion of things to achieve? Or do I put everything aside to do this one thing? And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to do it. I am going to stay on my path. It fits in. I'm open to it. If you know me long enough, you'll know I'll give it a go. But I am not going to just table me so that I can do something that I am being told that I should do. Because I assure you, you don't know me enough then if you're going to tell me that. You don't. But if you talk to me and I talk to you and I say, well, what else is coming up that I can help with? Give me some options here. I've got some yeses in there. We just got to unlock the door and let them out. And you give it to me and I say, I can be there and I can do this. I'll need transportation. I'll check with Patty. We got to shift. We got to plan. This is a family situation. This is not singular. This is plural. And when you figure it out, your no's become yeses. But do not take no as the only answer a person has. Ask them some questions. Or they may ask you, listen, don't just hear the no and drop the blind. Leave it up. You leave it up and you talk to me, I will do what I can do. But if I'm telling you no, it's not because I don't like you. I may not know you enough to not to like you. Or I may know you enough not to like you. Maybe I just don't know you. But don't push it. Talk to me. Get to know me. And realize that the power of no isn't about something like dropping a slab of concrete. This is light and energy that moves. It flows. It will sit with you and talk with you, will cry with you, and will hug with you, will do all of these things. No is not something to push aside. And when we can figure this out, we figure out something really quite lovely about ourselves, that we are actually likable. What I'm going to say to you, start with getting to the place of liking yourself.
I feel like what you're saying is like communication, like your communication skills and saying no, and that's it, like explaining yourself or why it's no, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Is deep. I like what you said.
Thank you. So I like you too. Okay, we're working it now. We got the like going. I love it. Yes?
It sounds like what you're saying is no isn't an absolute. If the approach is with grace, like with giving options, and if that no can become a yes, and then you can move forward with that.
Exactly. But many people take no as being something to convince you to change your mind about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what no is. No is saying I'm making a decision.
And you have 2 minutes.
And I have 2 minutes. So here it is. When you make the decision to do something, you're doing it because you've given thought to it. You've thought it through, you've had a discussion, you've looked at it. You've had ample time to make the decision to proceed, just like you've had ample time to make the decision that this is not right for me at this time. You notice the word is at this time. It didn't say forever. It says at this time, this is not right for me. What are you doing in 2 months, 3 months? I will have finished some projects and I'll have lots of time to give. We have to learn how to let things move. We have to learn how to flow. And when we do that, it's called evolution. Basically, it's called getting out of your way. But evolving sounds so nice. But when,
Easy, flowing.
flowing.
The flow.
When we can learn to flow, that's a good one. When we learn to flow, guess what happens? We feel better. We don't feel guilty that I said no. I have no guilt about no, by the way. You might as well know this up front. And the thing about it is, because guilt is not a part of my life. If it was, I wouldn't be able to stand up here and talk to you because I'd feel guilty about some of the thoughts I've had about my life and the people that were in it. But I work towards healing that every day. Every day. I've been around long enough to have a lot of stuff surface from a lot of diverse people and their views about me, and they didn't even know me. All they knew was the face looking at them. That's what they knew. And guess what? That was okay for them. But it is not okay for me. So the power of no is about being yourself. Thank you.
Yeah.
You did. All right. Now, how do I get out of here? This way. Now, can I cut through?
Yeah, you bet.
How's it
I'll say
going?
yes to that.
You say yes to that? How's it going? All right then.
As Joyce, you left something
Did
here.
I leave my everything?
No, just something, not everything. Just
Oh,
something.
I took everything with me?
I hope so.
My notes?
Oh, right there. Now you want your notes.
I can leave them and get them later.
I've always wanted to read your notes because I know it's not what you've said.
Hey, John, you know to pass them around the room, please.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right.
I know, no, it's okay.
Same thing with me. I never say. Same thing, I write notes and never say it.
Yeah, I know, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much, that was a wonderful talk. And while she was talking, it was so nice to watch Rosalie in the back.
Yes.
Because her energy is, her mom's not yelling, screaming at her, saying no, no, no. Her mom is there supportive and loving her, and she knows I'm talking about her. And that's the way we should all treat everybody. It's not immediately saying no, it's about listening. It's about being aware, and I so appreciate that. Well, this is a time we're going to be passing the basket, and as I mentioned before, if right now you want to not have, you don't have anything to put in there, please do a blessing. But follow me as we say our affirmation for the basket, and I don't have one. Oh,
Yeah, I got it. Giving to the ministry, from which I receive my spiritual support and nurturing, is an affirmation in consciousness of the truth. That spirit is the flowering power, enriching every area of our lives.
I want to thank you. Every time I start that, I fail right in the middle of it. I just kind of go, and
We got you, Dottie.
And thank you so much. That having me is what's so important. So, now who do we have doing the closing prayer today? Anybody? Joe?
I'm doing a closing.
Yeah. Or Annie's doing the closing prayer. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, but you've got to raise your hand and let me know.
Wait, she's got the basket, she can't raise her hand.
He's concentrating.
She's concentrating, and you notice, she didn't say no. She just said, I can do that. And so here she is. And we're so glad to have you back, your first day back, and we have you doing everything. She helped us back. And before you do the closing, Dr. Eileen, anything to say? We talked about having somebody back. You've got a whole 5 minutes. You can tell us about New York.
Well, I love New York, and it's so amazing. Thank you for all the support and the prayers and the love. And the biggest irony was I make it all the way through New York. I had to test every 48 hours. I come back home in 5 days. I've got COVID. So irony. But thank you all. And I will be talking more. I will be at some point doing a service, and we'll be talking about that next week. Yes, I'm talking next week. So, but it really is. It's wonderful to be back. It was a huge adventure. It was crossing a finish line and a starting line at the same time. We're still waiting to hear. We may actually hear pretty soon about whether or not our play won. And if it did, then I will be going back to perform the play in New York, and it will be a part of the Negro Ensemble Company's Broadway season.
Wow.
So fingers crossed, but I just want to thank everyone for your support, for your love, for your prayers, and for all the encouragement.
Okay, Reverend.
Somebody's noise ringing. Turn your phone off. So before I go into prayer, I'd just like to, oh God, try not to do this.
You're fine. We're here and we're supporting.
In addition to Memorial Day, where we're giving homage to soldiers that have fallen, we also have the children, the teachers, the schools, and then to top it off, Alan White, who was the drummer for Yes, passed away on Thursday, so it's just been a... Oh my God. All they said was after a brief illness, Alan White was a powerhouse in the rock and roll world, and for anybody that did not know, he was the drummer for John Lennon. When John Lennon recorded Imagine, he was a part of that rock and roll history. He also recorded with George Harrison. It's a huge rift within the Yes band world, but he was an amazing, amazing man. And I just wanted to take a minute just to tell Alan I loved him. I can feel his spirit all around him. You know, that man, he called my friend Kathy. His publicity guy, or, you know, guy that worked with him on his website was a friend of mine. And he called me, and he, you know, about a week before Kathy died, he said, I want to get a surprise. I want Alan to call Kathy. And I had to stay out of the house because I didn't want to give it away because Kathy was so psychic to me. She knew something was coming down. He called her and spoke to her for about 10 minutes. I mean, he was just such a giving, caring man. He was only 72 years old, so can we just give a little love to him as well? And as we give love to all those who have gone. I mean, talk about saying no. It's time to say no to hatred. What happened can't be attacked with hate. We have to somehow find a way to throw love. And I'm seeing memes all over Facebook that say, love and prayers don't do anything. BS. It's not the only thing, but it's one thing. And if we don't give love, and all we're giving is our anger and our hate, we're not resolving anything, we're just creating more of it. Thank you. So let's take a moment and close our eyes and take a nice deep breath in, and let's breathe in that love. Let's breathe in that energy. Hold that light within our hearts, and let the beautiful sound of our Rosalie keep us smiling. And then let's breathe out. Let's breathe all of that energy out. Let's breathe out anything that is not sitting pretty with us at this moment, and let's place it into that pretend basket that sits right next to us so that the Creator can take all these fears and doubts and worries and all these different things and take it and transmute it. Transmute it into a loving no. Transmute it into a loving yes as well. Dearest Mother, Father God, dear Creator, thank you for this day, and thank you for our lives, and thank you for this opportunity for all of us to be together in this moment, for each of us to express who we are from our own authenticity and to be that beauty and that joy of who we are. Help us to have the strength to say no to these types of activities that are occurring, because there are wars everywhere. Small little wars within communities, small little wars that are, you know, amongst people in different countries as well. Let's recognize that we don't have to live in that. We can say no to that. We can say no and be our true selves, and we can give love. We can grow. We can shine. We can go forward and show somebody a smile. We can stay in our steadfastness, and we can stand true to ourselves without harming another being. Creator, we ask for you to have our backs, and for you to remind us of our oneness, and for you to hold us as we go through any grief, as we grow in love, as we gain our strength back again. Give us a week of loving kindness. Allow us to pay homage to all those who have passed, but to be able to feel their energy and their spirit and love with us. And know that we are strong. We are strong because of you, Creator. And we give thanks. We give thanks so much. And as I always say at the end of each prayer, Creator, I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessed be, amen. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you so very much.
Thank
I want to thank you all very much for being here. And I want you, just as Annie was saying, every time you think anger, stop and think peace. It's amazing how easy it is when you get in the habit. Instead of saying them, say us. I hear people saying, well, they're no good. They're children of God. They're us. And we are good because we know we are. Because Joyce told us so.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. It was great having you here. We're looking forward to seeing you next week when our wonderful Reverend Dr. Eileen is going to be giving a talk and filling us more into her experiences in the Big Apple. Thank you so very much. We have coffee, we have food here that was donated by,
Trader Joe's.
yeah, Trader Joe's. So please go stop, pick up some food, get a cup of coffee, and talk to the person next to you might not know.